Hello and welcome to the 17th episode of hsv International, the English-speaking hsv fan podcast. I'm Philip, and I'm very happy to sit here together with you, Lennart. Hi, Lennart.
Hi, Philip. How are you?
Very well. I spent the last days in Vienna visiting a good friend. And how about you? You started the week at work, right?
Yeah, I'm very calm so far. So I'm still fit even after half of the week. So everything's fine.
Mhm. This is not the only exception today. Today is Wednesday. Usually we record our episodes on Monday, but this is the first summer episode. This is the second exception I'm mentioning so far. And what awaits you in this first summer episode? We will look back on our past episodes, what we may have forgot to tell you, but just a few sentences on this. We will then transition to current news that have happened during the past 2 weeks, because we have not uploaded last week. There has happened a lot. Then we will have a season review, and this is our largest part of this episode and the first special thing of this first summer episode. We will look back on our season, on the first Bundesliga season after 7 years in the second division. And we, Lennart, will also distribute our personal awards of the season. What will be the categories we will have a look at?
Well, first of all, we will crown our home and away game of the season, and of course, our game of the season after this as well. Then we will name our player of the season, our transfer of the season, and our goal of the season.
Yes, I'm very much looking forward. Before recording this episode, we already discussed a couple of things, but without telling each other which game or which player we have decided for. So it will be exciting even for the two of us. And in the end, we will also have a question of the week. We are very much looking forward to respond to this as well. So Lennart, I would say, let's start. And yeah, we have to excuse to not mention our women's team in the past episode because, Lennart, what happened there?
Well, it's the last match day of their season. They secured the league as well. They played a very, very good game against Bayern Munich. Sadly, they lost, but because Essen did won, I think they must have won after our game 10-0, 11-0, something like that. And yeah, they did manage to do that. So our women are playing as well, just like our men's team next season in the first division, which I'm very, very happy.
Absolutely. Huge milestone for this women's team as well.
Yeah. Therefore, from our side now, congratulations to our women's team as well.
Absolutely. Congrats. But directly afterwards, the club sacked the sports director of the women's team. And because even though we saved the league also with the women's team, the club was not really happy with the results in the end. I think also the coach was sacked a couple of weeks even before the season ended. And then it was Rodolfo Cardoso who jumped in and saved the league in the end. Many players went as well. So there will be a new chapter next season with a new sports director also, not only for the men, but also for the women. We will keep you updated throughout the next weeks, but return to the men's team now. Lennart, we had a betting game last season. Should we briefly mention who won the betting game?
Well, of course, we should. And this is now my turn. Congratulations for winning our betting game, Philip. I think we
Thank you.
didn't quite keep our followers and updated, but of course we had a look on it, and we forgot to bet on the last game of the season. But nevertheless, I can say that I would not have predicted it right, and therefore I definitely wouldn't have catched up to you, Philip. So this is no excuse at all. Congratulations for a deserved win. Next season I will come in for you.
I hope so. Maybe we were on Mallorca with our heads before the game against Leverkusen.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, but next season we will maybe be a bit more collaborative here, also sharing our betting results and also our predictions in our Discord channel. So we will keep you updated there. Let's start, Lennart. What has happened during the past 2 weeks?
Yeah, maybe let's start with the, let's say current news, might even not the right word for it, but with the results from the relegation games we mentioned 2 weeks ago. We had Rot-Weiß Essen against Kräuter Fürth. The game for the spot in the second league, which Fürth won after a loss in the first leg in Essen. They secured the league for them in their home game against Essen in the second match. So, congratulations to Fürth at this point. And big surprise, I think, for most of the football fans in Germany was happening in the relegation for the spot in the first division, because Paderborn won against Wolfsburg in extra time after a draw in the first leg. They won against Wolfsburg, and congratulations to Paderborn as well. Something, like I said, most people would never have imagined. What about you, Philipp?
I think exactly the same. I would have never imagined Paderborn to win against Wolfsburg. And to be honest, this is my very personal opinion. I'm very happy that they did, because now Wolfsburg needs to calm down a bit, even though they are already starting to make huge transfers. But they would have made huge transfers also in the Bundesliga. And this could have ended up on the, let's say, 7th or 8th spot next season. They played a not very good season now, but with a lot of money that the Volkswagen Group has, they could have invested in new players and then easily play on the top half of the table next season. So with Paderborn, there will be probably weaker team with a lower available money to spend on the team. So this is a club that definitely has to stay behind us, in contrast to Wolfsburg next season. So I'm very happy that this turned out like this, although I have never imagined it to happen.
Yeah, absolutely. Maybe just one addition to that. Today I've read that Wolfsburg already had an agreement with Fabian Reese and Tjag Ernst in case they would have secured the first league. Now they still try to convince them to play for Wolfsburg next season as well, because they're playing right now in Berlin, so second league as well. Maybe they might be convinced to play in Wolfsburg next season, or try to find a team in the first league. Let's see about that. But this shows just how Wolfsburg is likely to invest huge amount of money to very, very good players, at least for the second league. And I would say Tjag Ernst and Fabian Reese would help a lot of first division teams as well.
I think so too. And we will mention Wolfsburg later in this episode again. But now other news of the week, or of the past 2 weeks, Lennart. What happened in our club maybe? I have one very special thing in my mind.
Yeah, absolutely. And far more important news as well. A milestone, I would say, was reached at the end of last week. Our club now has 150,000 members. Something, I think right now we are 6th place in Germany, something like that. And you told me beforehand 12th in the world.
Exactly. We are the 12th strongest teams in the world when it comes to membership rates. So we now have 150,000 members, and there are only 11 football clubs ahead of us. Lennart, can you name the top 3?
The top 3. Okay, I would say number 1 is Bayern Munich.
Wrong.
Okay, but they are in the top 3, right?
They are in the top 3, yes.
Okay, Benfica Lissabon is very, very high.
Yes, they are the first place.
Oh, they're in the first place, really? I've read some years ago that Bayern overtook them, but
I mean, probably they have. That needs to be mentioned, maybe. I refer to a source. It's probably not the best source. I have a table in front of me, which is from Wikipedia. And they named Benfica Lissabon at the first place with 440,000 members, and Bayern Munich on the second with 432,000 members. But the source for Benfica Lissabon is way younger. It's from 28th of February this year. And the number for Bayern Munich is from 2nd of November in 2025. So, this might have changed in the meantime.
Yeah, okay. Then I have the first and the second place.
Yes. And the third?
Now, the third one, I don't know how it is in Spain with memberships, because if it would be quite common, then I would just say Real Madrid, but because they were not mentioned and are even behind Benfica Lissabon, I go with the German team and say Borussia Dortmund.
Okay, so let me Let me resolve it. On the third place, it's River Plate from Argentina.
Oh,
On the
okay.
fourth place, it's Boca Juniors from Argentina. And then it's Borussia Dortmund, then it's Schalke, and then again two clubs from Portugal. It's Sporting Lisbon and the club from Porto, also in Portugal. And then it's only Cologne and Frankfurt ahead of us, and then it's Hamburg. So it's an impressive order, I would say. Barcelona and Real Madrid are even behind us. Barcelona has 140,000 members and Real Madrid not even 100,000.
And no Premier League team as well.
No Premier League team as well, yeah. We can be very proud of it to have 150,000 members. And they celebrated at the club, and they showed a huge, huge flag in the harbor of Hamburg. It looks like a scarf. And on this scarf, there is the first name of every single member. Isn't this amazing?
Yeah, I love this picture. When I saw it, it was a great thing to do, I would say. And I really loved it. Great way to announce it.
Absolutely. And I saw a video on social media the day before mentioning something like, oh, wait for tomorrow, there is something big to happen. And everybody was like, oh, Fabio Vieira, he will sign his new contract or anything else. But no one was expecting 150,000 members to happen. And I think the last milestone, 100,000 members, was reached in Lennart. Was it 2022 or 2023?
I would say it was 2022, but I'm not entirely sure.
But not too far away. Imagine in 3 or 4 years, we added, I think, is it 50%? Yeah, I think 50%, right? We made a 50% increase in memberships. It's insane. And when you have a look at this development over the past years, you see that before we reached 100,000, I think we relegated with roughly 80,000 members, right?
Yeah.
And then it took like 4 years to gain 20,000 members, and then another 4 years to gain 50,000 new members. So insane development, great for the club, and what a great announcement last week.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Philipp, we are right now on the current news of the club. What have we else?
Yes, let's have a look at our squad and at our players, because there have happened a lot as well. Daniel Heuer Fernandez extended his contract. I think his new contract is until 2028, right?
Mm-hmm. That's right, yeah.
And what do you think about it, Lennart? Have you imagined it to happen, or have you expected it to happen? And what do you think does it mean for Sander Tanvik, the goalkeeper who played against Leverkusen, made a brilliant debut, resulting in the nomination for the World Cup?
Well, first of all, I think that Daniel played a very, very good season, and therefore we should be happy to have a great keeper for the next 2 years in Hamburg. Well, you asked me if I was expecting this. I would say a month ago I wouldn't have expected this. A week before it was announced, then yeah, because there was already a lot of rumors that he might sign it, and therefore I thought, okay, this he will probably do it, because he also had his contract extended automatically until 2027, and now he probably has well, let's call it maybe a more fitting wage, and now more secureness for him as well. So, like I said, I'm very happy for Daniel. But yeah, for Tanvik, it's a very difficult situation now, because now we have another great keeper with 2 years contract here in Hamburg, and I can't imagine that Sander Tanvik will be staying here 2 years on the bench. Like you said, he's nominated for the Norwegian World Cup team. He wants to play there as well. So I don't know if we might give him away on loan if he wants to be sold. I wouldn't sell him. He played a very, very great game in Leverkusen, like we already spoke of 2 weeks ago. And let's see how it ends up. I hope that they will contribute to each other and that we have a great duo of goalkeepers during the next 2 years.
I hope so too. Yeah, let's see how it will turn out. I mean, they must have made him the promise to stay number one, Daniel Fernandez. And this is something for Sander Tangvik, which is not too good for him. Young goalkeeper, he needs to play now for the World Cup. He's Norwegian's number one goalkeeper talent. Let's frame it like this. Yeah, like you said, he couldn't really sit it out for 2 years more on the bench. So yeah, I'm excited how it will turn out. But despite of that, there were some other transfers that have happened already. Ransford Yeboah Königsdörfer moved to Mainz 05, a direct opponent in the Bundesliga. I have never imagined that he would change clubs to Mainz. I mean, it was obvious that he will leave, I would say. I mean, of course, the past weeks, Merlin Polzin and the staff tried to convince him to stay. I don't know what were the conditions, but I think you could see that he somehow knows that he will leave the club. But to Mainz, I have no real opinion on this. I mean, it must be the wage or also the plan of the coach to let him play in a certain position. What do you think about it?
First of all, I would agree with you. I never imagined that he would transfer to Mainz as well. One reason probably is the wage, of course. The position, I'm not sure about it because he was playing almost every game for us in his favorite position as far as we know it. So I can't imagine that this is an advantage in regard to Mainz in favor of us. But yeah, you must admit that Mainz is playing in the first Bundesliga now for, I don't know, 20 years. And we just returned. We played for 1 year, and therefore Mainz probably offers more stability right now. I can understand that how a player right now would favor Mainz, but yeah. We spoke a lot about Königsdörfer over the last months. He got better, but it's not like he played a season where we can't imagine how we live without him. Therefore, it's okay. I would have liked to sign a new contract with him if possible, but now we need to find another striker, and I'm quite confident that Klaus Costa and the rest will do it.
And they already started to do so by signing Amoako from Dresden. He's playing as a central midfielder, right? A more defensive position. And it turned out that we may have already signed another player, namely Albert Grönbeck. It's not yet communicated, but the newspapers, also reliable ones, already kind of confirmed it. Also a very influential transfer expert in Germany confirmed it today. Albert Grönbeck will stay in Hamburg, will sign a contract until 2030. And I think we were able to negotiate the buy option lower. I think the buy option was roughly 5.5 million, but it seems that we paid only 4.5 million, which would be amazing. I'm very happy. First, for Amoako, that he will join us in this position, because he was also very, let's say, valuable. Many clubs wanted him to sign at their clubs. We got him. And Albert Grönbeck, who made brilliant games by the end of the season. I mean, before that, he was very unlucky that he was injured a lot. But now we signed him because of these past 7 games, which were amazing. So 2 new players, Lennart. And there are other rumors.
Yeah, there's a rumor about Robert Glatzel that he already has an agreement reached with Wolfsburg, which you also already mentioned. Wolfsburg wants to pay not even $1 million for him, I've read today. And
not even?
Not even $1 million.
Want to pay less or more?
Less. So
less.
not even $1 million.
Okay.
They want to pay less than $1 million. And this is clearly not enough for Hamburg. There's not an agreement between the clubs as far as I've read. But yeah, Glatzel has an agreement with Wolfsburg. which is quite understandable, I would say, after this season. Even if I would love to that he would stay here in Hamburg, but yeah, I can understand Robert. But yeah, let's see how this would end up. If I would make a suggestion, I would say that he will end up in Wolfsburg maybe it's the next 1 or 2 weeks.
Which would be insane. I think they would then have 5 very, very good strikers. I mean, we would have to see the squad again, but they also bought Hornby from Darmstadt. I think they even bought another player, also for 1 million or more, and now Robert Glatzel, and they will stay with, I think, Pejcinovic.
Yeah, if they would keep up, or if they would keep every striker, then it would be insane. Absolutely. I mean, you already mentioned Hornby. Right now they have Shiogai and Pejcinovic as well, then Glatzel. But yeah, we have to see if they really keep Shiogai and Pejcinovic, or if they make one or maybe 2 of them leave the club for, well, a good amount of money.
Yeah, I mean, but enough about Wolfsburg.
Yeah,
we have
absolutely.
one more rumor to talk about. Fabio Vieira told us something, Lennart, or not us specifically, but the club.
Yeah, if the rumors or newspapers are right, he told that he wants to stay in Hamburg, and he wants to be at the club, well, at the start of the training already. So in a few weeks, he wants to be a Hamburg player again, and well, we hope it as well. Arsenal, if the rumors are correct, are now not wanting 20 million, but around 10 to 15, I've read. And yeah, let's see how this will turn up. I don't know if I could say confident, but I'm quite hopeful and that we will reach an agreement with Arsenal as well, with Fabio. It might already be reached.
This would be so amazing. He was so influential. He was so good. But let's continue. We have some nominations for the World Cup. We mentioned them throughout the past episodes, and let us quickly go through them. Lennart, I do remember Luka. Soon for the next World Cup, also Mario Vuskovic. But for now, Luka Vuskovic, Miro Moheim, and Zan Tangvik, who are nominated. And unfortunately, no Nicolas Capaldo. And in brackets, not important for us anymore, but no Ransford Yeboah Königsdörfer. Do I forget someone? I mean, really sad that Nicolas Capaldo is not nominated for the World Cup, but he's still nominated for the last test games. And maybe, I mean, I don't hope someone to be injured or, but you never know what happens. And it's great that he is nominated for these test games. And let's see, maybe he will be renominated, maybe not. But then also for the next World Cup, do I forget anyone?
No, as far as I know, not. And we have these 3 players, and yeah, like you said, maybe Capaldo will join them as well. But yeah, let's hope not, because this would mean that a player from Argentina will be injured. Therefore,
Exactly.
Then let's hope that Capaldo will be playing the next World Cup in 2030.
Exactly, alongside Mario Vuskovic and many other HSV players, probably also Sambi Lokonga. We will see.
Then we don't have only 3, but 10.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, after they won a European Cup, we will see.
Yeah, but this would be a task for Remberg and not Capaldo winning the European Cup.
Yes. Oh, yes. Yeah, but I mean with the HSV, not with the
of course.
team.
Okay. Then it would be a task for both of them, obviously.
Exactly. What do we have other news of the week or of the past weeks? What has happened around the club maybe also, quickly?
Maybe not directly around the club, but the former HSV staff member, Jonas Bold, has a new job. He's now sporting director of Hannover 96.
A very key person from our past 10 years, I would say. Maybe even my favorite person from the past 10 years, alongside Tim Walter.
And you talked with Jonas Bold in Mallorca for a few seconds, I would say. Has he told you that he would sign Hannover.
No, we are not yet so close, Lennart.
Okay.
But it would have been amazing. I mean, he must have been in talks with Hannover during this period of time. If it would have been announced, then I would, of course, have congratulated him. But also through this podcast, he may hear it, he may not, probably not. But congratulations, Jonas Bold. I think this is a great station for your career, but also for the club. I think Hannover 96 can be very lucky to have you, or back to us here. I think Hannover 96 can be very lucky to have Jonas Bold as the new sports boss, together with Christian Tietz. They know each other, or not. No, I think Jonas Bold came for the second Bundesliga season, second division season, right? They don't know each other. I mean, probably they do in this business, but they did not meet in Hamburg, unfortunately. But I think this duo, Tietz and Bold, can be successful, and I hope them to be successful. I would be happy for them to promote back to Bundesliga. And I think during his presentation, Lennart, he was mentioning that he won't leave Hannover before the promotion happens, right? He was referring to his position at Hamburg, where he left or was forced to leave 1 year before we finally made the promotion. But even on the day of the promotion, Lennart, you remember it, he was standing a couple of meters behind us. So he was in the stadium. He's still connected to the club. He's a lifelong member of HSV. So he will be forever attached to us, if he wants or not. And therefore, I'm happy that he's at Hannover and not at Schalke or somewhere else. It's a club with which we are in a friendship with. So amazing position. I hope that they will promote only the best for Hannover and Jonas Bold.
Yeah, totally. And Christian Tietz as well. A great duo, a great club. So let's hope that we will see them next year in the first league.
Exactly. But something happened today in the lower league, Lennart.
Yeah, from very, very good and exciting news to, if you ask me, very sad news. 1860 München, a huge traditional club in Germany, who played now for several years in the third division. For my case, I saw them in the first division, 2000 and what was it, 4, when they were relegated, something like that. They are forced to be relegated from the third into the fourth division due to financial issues. Probably Erzgebirge Aue will now stay in the third division because Havelse don't want to stay in the third league. I've read something about issues with the stadium, but I'm not so into this topic to be more specific right now. But yeah, very sad about that. I really hope that München will return quickly. And I was quite looking forward actually to might see a game in München with my home club, which was relegated, as you already mentioned, to the third league. And yeah, now this will definitely not be happening throughout the next season.
No, it won't be possible, unfortunately. But only a quick remark on this. I think it's a huge mess, this whole thing. Of course, I mean, this is legally completely correct that they need to be in the fourth division now. I mean, I did not see the case, of course, but I think so. But what I think is the bigger thing here is that Erzgebirge Aue will stay in third division and not a club like Lokomotive Leipzig, which won the fourth division there in the northeastern part of Germany. You have to imagine, they won the league, they finished it in the first place, needed to play the first place of the southwestern region of Germany. They lost this playoff game, so they needed to stay in the fourth division. And now a club like Erzgebirge Aue which played a bad season in the third division and even were relegated to the fourth division by not only 1 or 2 points, but you told it Havelse was even before them. So it wasn't quite close to stay in the league. And they can now stay in the champion of the division of the fourth one, must stay in the fourth division and cannot promote to the third league. And in my perspective, it's a scandal. They need to reform this whole thing that champions need to promote. But just a quick remark on this. It's unfortunate for 1860 München and in my opinion also for Lokomotive Leipzig.
Yeah, and I think not only for them, it's a complete situation. It's completely ridiculous because, like you said, they were so many points behind the say secure places in the third division. And this goes for Havelse as well, for Aue as well, and even for Ulm, who were only 1 point behind Aue. And Aue was behind Ulm before the last match day. And of course, you can in this league, you really have to consider that such a thing, which happened now to 1860 München, happens to other teams as well, because this is not the first time, not the second time. This is maybe the fourth or fifth time this happened since we have this third division now. And it's kind of ridiculous that this happens now, because I don't know if you really think about it, or if you quite imagine, okay, now we are relegated and these last percentage are missing in the last games of the season. But if you think about it, Ulm might have stayed up. They had so many chances. They were, I think, 3 or 4 weeks for the end of the season, 4 or 5 points ahead of Aue. And even for Ulm now, it's a at least say missed opportunity now.
Absolutely. Like I said, and like you said now as well, it's a huge mess. But let's leave it like this. German football needs to be reformed in certain leagues and things. But good news, people are on it. They have recognized it, and due to huge protests also from the supporters of the clubs from these divisions. We will see how this will turn out. But I think with that being said, we can conclude this section as well, right, Lennart?
Yeah, I think so as well, because now we can talk about our club. After all, this is a HSV podcast and not a third division podcast, Wolfsburg podcast, or whatever else we might suggest it now with our, well, let's say different topics so far.
That's absolutely right. So let's quickly review our season. We will then mention some more details while rewarding our personal awards. But Lennart, I would say from beginning to finish, let's go through it in roughly 5 minutes maybe. What has happened by the beginning of the season? We started the season somehow with being promoted against Ulm in May 2025, because then we knew we have to prepare for the first Bundesliga season since 7 years. And club prepared for this first new Bundesliga season after many years with setting up test games against very good opponents. Lennart, how were the results of these games?
Well, we had a very, very difficult summer. There were, let's say, not the best test results. You could even say they were really bad. And not only the results, but the performances as well. In addition to that, we had a lot of changes in the squad. And then, in addition to that, also the first, serious game in the cup was a very bad game as well. We were there, Philipp.
Yes.
We won it, but it was. We weren't very euphorized after the game. Let's call it like that. Maybe we were relieved that we won, but that was all. A week after that, we had the first Bundesliga game for 7 years, and we were quite surprised in a good way at that day. With a point in Gladbach, we after the cup game, all of us thought, "Oh, please don't get us destroyed." We thought maybe 4-0, 3-0 to Gladbach, but that was a good step, I thought, in that moment. But afterwards, the devastating performance against St. Pauli, Munich as well was difficult, but you expected that. And then we had a few late key transfers in person of Luka Vuskovic, Fabio Vera, and Samilu Konga, which turned everything upside down, I would say. What do you think, Philipp?
I agree with you. These transfers really made something with the squad. They directly improved the quality and the way that we played football. Yeah, we still lost against Bayern Munich, which of course was somehow predictable at the stage where we were at this moment. But this was the first game from Luka Vuskovic. Fabio Vieira. And the second game from them was against Heidenheim. And this was our first win of the season and also our first goal of the season by Luka Vuskovic, one of these late key transfers. And with them, we came better in the season. We also had way better games with really amazing games at home. When we think about the game against Stuttgart, of course, also the game against Dortmund, where we secured the point in the last minute, against Werder Bremen, against Frankfurt, all good opponents. And this was amazing. You saw that the club and the whole new team, they needed the time to bond. They needed the time to understand each other, how they play football and how the people on the pitch think. But then time after time, you saw that with every game, they improved and came closer and made fantastic games. And then there was the winter break. And I think we then were on place 12, maybe?
Yeah, I think around the 12th place might be right. And we made some additions to the squad in the winter as well. We already mentioned Albert Grönbeck, who was sadly injured a week or something like that after he came to us. And maybe it was in the first day or something like that. And player like Raymond Downs as well, which we mentioned during the last weeks often. But let's say some transfers helped us, some not. Let's keep it at that. Yeah, and after that, we had very good games as well. If you think about our home game against Bayern, against Gladbach also, which both ended up with a draw. Against Bayern, we were quite happy about it. Against Gladbach, every one of us knew this was not enough because we made a very, very good game.
Yes.
But sadly, did reward us. And yeah, even a loss against Freiburg or other games were bad performances. The first half against Dortmund, and we really had good games, but sadly not so many good results at some points of the season, where maybe for 1 or 2 months. Also just a draw against Cologne and Augsburg at home. But then we had this huge, important game in Wolfsburg, Philipp. And I think after that, when you looked into the faces of everyone around us, so much fell off our shoulders. And this must have been at least so much from the players as well.
Yeah, it was such a relief winning in Wolfsburg because for them it was basically the last chance to catch up with us or to reduce this gap in between of us. But we kept the gap also with a bit of luck when you think about it, 2 penalties on this game. But nevertheless, we won it, and that's most important. Afterwards, there were also a bit weaker games again. I think the game against Cologne was afterwards also again against Augsburg. But then, in the end of the season, I think the third last game in Frankfurt, amazing game. It was one of the best games that I've seen as a HSV supporter, maybe, at least from the happiness point of view. It was a relief after relief, this game. I mean, we were behind 1-0, but then 1-1, and everybody knew this would be it. We made it. We stay in the league with good weather, with a lot of amazing drinks. It was such a great day. Together with you, we spent also the day in Wolfsburg together. I'm just so grateful to have been part of this season and to be in the stadium so often. Last home game against Freiburg, the farewell to Luka Vuskovic, and also, in brackets, Fabio Vieira. From this perspective, let's see whether it may have not been the farewell in the end. And the very last game against Leverkusen, which we ended up with a point. We did not give up. Earlier, we really wanted to get points out of the game against Leverkusen. And this was an amazing goodbye to the staff, to the players, to this whole season. It was so amazing. And I really have goosebumps at this moment, Lennart, when I think about it. It was just a great season and I enjoyed it so much.
Yeah, totally. And just like seeing this team after the game in Leverkusen, how they celebrated. And they celebrated the season. They celebrated themselves. They celebrated the fans. I think they celebrated everything around the club because this year was amazing. You mentioned a very difficult beginning, but after that, you saw how the team grew closer and closer together. And I mean, if you think about our key transfers, Vuskovic and Vieira, you could see with Luka that he was fitting quite well into the team from the very first beginning because of Mario, he already knew the club, he knew some players, knew the stuff, and I think you could see that he seemed like a HSV player for many years. Let's call it maybe like that.
True.
But with Fabio, it was in the first weeks, I had the feeling he was quite off. I don't know if he really felt like belonging there. But this
I agree with you.
Changed totally throughout the season. And if you take a look on the body language of Fabio Vieira, maybe in the first 3 or 4 games, and then in the last 3-4 games, these are worlds apart. This is something which is probably a huge reason why he now can imagine staying in Hamburg. Because if you would have asked him in October, I don't think he would even think about it for a second. And now he wants to stay.
That's amazing, right? It really sums up the whole season. It was like a downhill ride, then uphill ride. It was amazing, you know, and you can go through every player here. I think every player and even every supporter has his or her own story with this season and his own or her own journey. And it's just been an amazing year. But Lennart, when we now distribute or reward awards, what was your home game of the season or also your away game of the season? Which 2 games would you consider the most 2 maybe influential games? You can also let us know about your reasoning. And then by the end, out of these 2 games, what was your match of the season?
Well, for the home game, there were so many to pick from, so many great games. You could take the North Derby against Bremen, but because I was very sick at that day and wasn't able to attend it in the stadium, I didn't choose the Derby win. And then we have the late winner against Stuttgart, which almost made it for me, but in the end, I had to pick our home game against Bayern. It was such a great performance against the club where we wanted to see for many years during the second league. I mean, we had a game against Bremen, we had a game against Stuttgart, but we didn't saw Bayern Munich in Hamburg for so many years, and we played such a good game. We got a point. For me, it's the home game against Bayern.
I agree with you, Lennart. And these 3 matches were also the 3 matches that I pointed out. But I have distributed my awards to the North Derby because, I mean, I know you were not there, but it felt, I mean, for me, a bit more important compared to Bayern Munich because these points against Werder Bremen were more important against the direct opponent, against our probably biggest rival at home, and this direction of the game, it was insane. You know, being 1-0 behind, then 1-1 for an amazing goal of Zambi Lokonga. You have to think about it, how he controlled the ball behind his leg and then just shot it out of a couple of meters in the top left corner. Amazing. Then the scorpion kick from Luka Vuskovic. And then when you were on top of your feeling that emotions, you concede the 2-2. You thought like, oh, damn, this cannot be true. You cannot make this, you cannot turn this game around and then concede this goal again. And then scoring this 3-2 by Yusuf Poulsen. Oh, it was amazing. It was amazing. But I can also agree with Bayern Munich being a so important game for us too. And Stuttgart with the assist from Westing Seed, Glatzel's first goal of the season. And then this last minute winner from Fabio Balde and Vieira. It was amazing. So these 3 games, also my favorite 3 home games of the season, but for me, the North Derby is number 1. What about the away games?
Yeah, For the away games, we don't have, let's say, this great collection, but we had some pretty good ones as well. And but for me, the number one is the game against Frankfurt. I thought about Wolfsburg as well, and I also thought for a couple of seconds about Gladbach, because it was the first game after so many years in the Bundesliga. But yeah, if you think about them, I think only Wolfsburg and Frankfurt really match up for the first spot. And yeah, for me, it's Frankfurt, because the feelings after you really secured the league, you were so relieved. And yeah, I have to go with Frankfurt.
Yeah, I agree with you. The feeling absolutely is unbelievable and unmatched. But I have a other game, because I have a different reasoning. So first of all, we were discussing this episode before recording it. Both of us were telling that we have picked 2 away games and 1, let's say in brackets, as a reserve game. And we were thinking about it must be the same matches, because there was not too much out of the bucket, let's say. But it were different ones, actually. I mean, also the Frankfurt game is one of my top 3 games. But the second game I also picked was the away game in Leipzig, one of the early away games. And we made a brilliant game there, from my perspective. Imagine playing in Leipzig for the first time after, or not actually true, we played there in the cup, lost there, I think 4-0. But it was the first time playing there in the Bundesliga, one of the first away games of the season. And we actually recognized that we can keep up with the good teams. And we made a good performance in an away game. We scored the goal, with turning the game into the 1-1 by Sami Lokonga. Lost it 2-1. But I think this was a key game in our early parts of the season, because we recognized we can keep up with the good opponents. But the game I was awarding my award with, actually, can you guess? Can you make a guess? It was not Wolfsburg, it was not Gladbach.
And it was not Frankfurt.
And it was not Frankfurt, yes. But I have another away game in my mind.
Well, I thought about another game as well. Maybe you took Leverkusen?
No.
No, okay.
No. I can tell you which game I took. The game against Union Berlin. The 0-0 in Berlin, 5th match day, Sunday evening at, I think, 7 p.m. kickoff time, or was it 7:30? Maybe, I have no idea.
Yeah, 7:30.
I think I was in Berlin only with Kati. She lives in Berlin. I mean, you know her. She was part of this podcast. And this also was a special game. It was the game after playing against Heidenheim, and it was a brilliant game. I mean, we had such a strong defense this game. You know, Vuskovic won, I think, 17 headers in this game, which was like a peak performance in a whole season. And it was the first time that you could see Fabio Vieira playing alongside Nikolai Remberg in the central midfield. And it was also the game where Mohamed Omari, also central defender, made a brilliant performance. He was also getting injured on this day, which was, not so good, of course. And we were very, let's say, anxious on the actual diagnosis, which was then, turns out, not good. But I like this team's performance, you know, and you saw that the win against Heidenheim made something with the team, and they started to love defending, you know. Vuskovic, Omari, and then Vieira and Remberg, and then Daniel Heuer Fernandez saved a penalty. And I loved this game. It was amazing. You could see the passion of defending. And of course, the game against Freiburg, against Frankfurt, has had a different level of emotions and relief. You're absolutely right. But I picked Union for a different reasoning. Can you understand it, Lennart?
Yeah, I can understand it. The way you described the game, I completely agree with you. And since I wasn't in Berlin, because it was so late that I couldn't get back home in time, and sadly the next day was Monday, therefore not possible for me. But yeah, because of that, Berlin never really crossed my mind for the selection.
Yeah, funny enough that I took 2 games where you could not attend actually, right? Because of illness and because of the schedule of the match
that's
days.
true. Yeah. Just say it if you don't want me there.
No, of course not. I mean, we had other amazing games together as well. But I can make it quickly. For me, match of the season is then the Nordderby instead of Bremen at home. Also, like I said, the order of the game, the atmosphere, and everything around it was worth the title match of the season for me. What about you? The game against Bayern München or the game against Frankfurt?
It might be a much closer call for me than it was for you, but I go with our home game as well against Bayern because, I don't know, the atmosphere in this whole stadium, the whole match because, the feeling when Bayern scored the 2-1, we all thought now it's over, now 3-4, maybe 5-1 to Bayern. And maybe 10 minutes after that, score by Luka, and we also had another great chance by Vieira to win it. And of course, Bayern had chances as well. I don't say that we deserved to win. It was a fair result, but for me, it's a game against Bayern. It was amazing.
Yeah, I can understand it. Playing Bayern München at home, one of the best teams on the planet, and then securing a well-deserved point in the end, amazing. And you don't see it this often. So this is something that even Borussia Dortmund doesn't see this often. So amazing and good choice.
Absolutely. Now we come to our individual awards. So let's maybe keep the player of the season at last and start with the transfer of the season, Philipp. Who was it for you?
Yeah, I mean, I make it quick. First logical choice would be Luka Vuskovic or Fabio Vieira. Probably Luka Vuskovic because he might be, or he is, the most expensive player that have ever played for the club. He made the probably biggest improvement of market value throughout the season. He was one of the best players throughout the season in the whole league. At the same time, Fabio Vieira had a huge, maybe even higher influence in our game, also in our game statics. By the way, he controlled the ball, by the way, which attacks he initiated. He scored many goals. He assisted many goals. He, alongside Luka Vuskovic, made the whole squad stronger and better. But when it comes to transfer of the season, I would pick either Nicolas Capaldo, because he also had a great value. I mean, I did not know him. He was our captain then and made it brilliantly. I mean, now he's also nominated for the Argentina club national team, but amazing captain. In the end, nevertheless, it's Ramiro Conga. We bought him for 300K from Arsenal. I have no idea how our club made this possible. And yeah, I think he has a market value of 8 million, 12 million. I'm not sure.
Now I think 12 million after the last update.
After the new update, right? And amazing player, played far more matches than we have expected. And because he also was unlucky with injuries, but said how much he loves the club. He wants to stay here longer because the past years he also changed clubs a lot. And he now wants to settle. And this, everything makes up Sami Lukonga transfer of the season for me. What about you?
Yeah, first of all, I didn't went with Vuskovic and Vieira as well. I would also agree with you that they were the most influential players for us. But for me, the main reason is that we only get them on loans and not on a secure transfer. So that's the main reason I didn't went for them.
Mm-hmm.
And then I also thought about Zambi Konga, but the reason I didn't went for him as well was because we got him from Arsenal. He already were, well, let's say, quite known in Europe for being a great talent so far. I think Arsenal spent 17 millions on him.
I think so,
something like that.
Huge amount of money.
Yeah, absolutely. And therefore, he wasn't such a huge surprise for me that he would help us. the player I picked was Nikolai Remberg, because we also got him for, well, let's say a low price, I think 2.5 million.
I think so too.
He only played one Bundesliga season so far with Kiel. And apart from that, only second or third. No, I think he never did. He played third league. He played obviously fourth league in Münster and second league in Kiel, but I'm not sure if he played third league as well for Münster. But well, nevertheless, he just had one first division season, and he was such amazing throughout the entire season. I can't really remember one bad game from him. Yeah, I was stunned with his performance and how he adapted so fast to the club, to our system, and how we stabilized our defense in the midfield. So for me, it's Remberg.
Yeah, amazing choice. And when you see the other squad members that he somehow still was competing with about the slot on the pitch, and he made every game, right? I mean, I think he missed 2 because of 5 yellow cards 2 times, right?
Missed one game because of 5 yellow cards. I think he saw this 10th against Leverkusen, right?
True. Okay, amazing. Even better. So he missed only the game against Hoffenheim back then when Jonas Meffert jumped in. But he competed with Zambi Lokonga, Fabio Vieira, again also Albert Grünbeck, Nicolas Capaldo, and he resisted everyone and stayed on the pitch and made, like you said, a great performance in every single game. I absolutely did not expect this to happen. So great choice. But is he also your player of the season?
No, my player of the season, because this time I will only get this season into consideration, and therefore I had to choose between our lone players, Vuskovic and Vieira, to be honest. And it was a very difficult decision, but I went with Luka Vuskovic. Maybe not only because the performance is on the pitch, because I don't know who was better, who was more important to us. It's quite difficult, but the influence Luka had through the entire club, to the fans, in the stadium, and the whole atmosphere. I have to go with Luka Vuskovic.
Yeah, I can make it short. Me too. I also took Luka Vuskovic. And I mean, what you saw, even after just a couple of games, you recognize that he will be an absolute world-class player.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
This is something Fabio Vieira also is top-class player. But will he be world-class on his position? Somehow, maybe. But probably not in the way that Luka Vuskovic will dominate the position of central defending throughout his entire career. And we will probably see him playing for the best clubs on the planet, winning the Champions League, be the probably best player. I mean, this is hard to say. We also have huge legends like Kevin Keegan, Felix Magath, Uwe Seeler, who wears our jersey. And I have no idea if I am even allowed to compare Luka Vuskovic at this early stage with these legends, but he may be our next huge legend for this club. And this is why I also took Luka Vuskovic. You could see it by the very beginning of his games for us. Even though he also had weaker matches, but I think his career will be a world-class one at probably the world's best clubs. Did he score the goal of the season, Lennart? Or did you choose another one?
Yeah, here as well, I had to choose between Vuskovic and Vieira. I think the goal I went most crazy for was the goal from Vieira against Stuttgart, the last second winning goal. And in addition to that, Vieira scored a fantastic goal in the last match against Leverkusen. But the goal of the season, for me, even if I wasn't in the stadium, it has to be the scorpion kick from Vuskovic against Kiel.
It's insane to mention a HSV player scoring a scorpion kick goal, right? This is it's insane on its own. Yeah, it's like, I mean, you said fabulous goals from Fabio Vieira. It's like one of our listeners once said, he scored a magical goal once.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, totally. Yeah.
Yeah, one of our listeners, I think it was Lucius, once called and was mentioning Fabio Vieira scoring a magical goal, and he scored many magical goals throughout the season. For example, you said the game against Leverkusen, of course, the match against Stuttgart, in Mainz, against Bayern Munich. But I also took the scorpion kick from Luka Vucevic. It's scoring this kind of goal in the derby, then the cheering in front of the supporters, this whole emotions in the derby. It's just insane. I took the same goal. Yeah, Lennart. Turns out, I think 2 same awards and 3 different runs actually. But however, we watched the same season, right?
Yeah, I'm quite amazed about that as well. I thought we had more in common, but I think it's great that it shows that we had a great season, I would say. That we had so many games to choose from, because there wasn't a game where we thought, yeah, we have to go with that. No, we were quite excited to choose it. So
True.
yeah, a great season. So I think to wrap it up, thank you to all the players, to all the staff members.
Yes.
I don't want to call names because in that case you forget one and you might forget 100. So, but yeah, just thank you to the whole club, to everyone around the club, because this year, these last months were amazing, and I look so much forward to the next season.
Me too. It was after so much suffering and so much pain throughout the last maybe even 15 years, now being presented with one of the most amazing seasons that both of us may have ever witnessed so far. It was amazing. And I'm so happy to have spent most of the games with you, Lennart, in the stadiums. How many matches did you see in the end in the stadium?
Oh, I have to think about that. I'm not sure, to be honest. I haven't counted so far. Maybe 20, 25, I would say, round about, but I'm not sure, to be honest.
You're not sure? I counted it in the end.
Games?
Yes. I missed 4 Bundesliga matches. I saw 30 out of 34 matches. And while counting these matches, Lennart, it came up into my mind that, I mean, of course, now if you also consider DFB Pokal matches, cup matches, I watched 31 out of 37. I missed the matches in Heidenheim and also at home against Kiel. They were during the week. And I mean, no excuse on the one hand. If you want to see as many games as possible, you also have to show up there. But yeah, at least after the Union game, I also started working again after finishing my studies, and therefore games during the week are, sometimes hard to organize, but still, I think, even more than 30 games. I'm so happy to have seen this many games, and it came into my mind, maybe a small announcement here, even though it's personal, but I cannot spend many games with you in the stadium next season because I will move to Italy for at least 2 years. So yeah, I'm so sad when I now look on the statistics to have seen more than 30 matches in one season. I will probably just see, maybe 5 or 6 next year. Yeah, very sad. But therefore, our podcast will turn around a bit. Lennart, we will probably mostly cover episodes from you being in the stadium and me watching it in television next year. Well, thinking about it, I'm so grateful to have witnessed this amazing season together with you on the stands. It was amazing. And I also thank you and our entire friends to have witnessed this season together with us. It was amazing.
Yeah, totally. And I'm still looking forward to even if it might be few games in the next season, but maybe 3 or 4 games we will watch together in the stadium as well. And
I hope so.
Let's hope so. And we will keep in touch. We will obviously keep the podcast up. You will hear from us next season as well. Let's hope that we have another great season together, even if it might be not so much of the stands throughout the next 12 months, but 24 months.
24 months minimum, yes. But then we see a couple of games together. For example, the one when Mario Vuskovic will be able to play again. I will definitely come to Hamburg to see this game happen live in the stadium. But then also you're very well much invited to join us in Italy and go to the San Siro once or twice or even more times.
I would definitely come over, at least definitely for one game, maybe 2 or 3 games as well.
Yeah. And maybe in the second year when I'm in Italy, maybe you join us there together with the HSV when we play internationally. Wouldn't this be great? I hope so much for it. It would be amazing.
AC Milan against Hamburger Sportverein.
It
European
would
Cup,
be a
yeah.
dream come true.
I would love to see it, yeah.
Me too. Me too.
I even go to Inter.
You even go to Inter when it is an international game from HSV. You even go to Inter. Amazing. We have a question of the week, Lennart. Let's finish our podcast with this question of the week. Would you play it?
Yeah, obviously. I'm quite happy that we got another one. So thank you in advance for that. Let's see if we are able to answer it.
Good evening. So today I look back at the past season. Just think of everything we've been through together. How often we've held our breath. How often we held out hope. Yet, what joy this team has brought us after those difficult years. Of course, I can only speak for myself, but we can be proud of this team. What a brilliant job our sporting director has done. Konga, Remberg, Capaldo, Vuskovic, and, above all, Vieira, all spot-on signings. Add to that, Roger Fernandes, one of the best goalkeepers in the league, and then a manager who has given the team a clear identity. Keep it up. As your friend, we've watched almost every game together. For me, the match in Leverkusen was a wonderful end to a memorable season. Vieira's marvelous goal, the subsequent celebration of the players in front of the stand, the manager's address to the fans, I had tears in my eyes. I assume you'll be naming your player of the season during the podcast, so I will ask some other questions, including a few about myself. First question. An incredible number of photos have been published, and there's even a new photo book coming out soon about this season. What do you think my favorite photo is? A little hint. It was taken in Leverkusen and sits on my desk. Second question. We won 3 away games in Heidenheim, Wolfsburg, and Frankfurt. Who in the fan club saw all 3 victories? A little clue. Their names weren't Lennart and Philipp.
That's right.
Third question. I'm a huge fan of the national team. You all know that. If I had to choose between the World Cup title in the coming tournament and signing Vieira and Vuskovic on permanent deals, which would I pick? Last question. I can go on and on about my favorite players at HSV. Have you ever seen me get as excited about a player as I have with Vieira? Melanie's already getting jealous. I hope for honest answers and hope you enjoyed the podcast.
Well, thank you, Mark, for this amazing audio. It adds so well in this episode, right, Lennart?
Yeah, totally. It fits perfectly. And yeah, thank you from me as well. And yeah, maybe let's start with the question about the away games, Philipp. Do you know who it is?
Yes, I do. It was, of course, Mark who took this audio, and it was Bonnie as well, right?
Yeah. As far as I know, these two were the only ones.
But the first question was actually, which is the picture on his desk, Lennart. And I think you said it, Mark. It was taken on this game against Leverkusen. Might be the picture of our lone players.
I thought maybe it might be a photo of the whole team celebrating in front of the fans, and this would be my guess.
Maybe it's also a picture of Fabio Vieira taking the bow in front of the fans after scoring this marvelous goal.
I'm 100% sure Fabio Vieira is in the picture. I'm not sure what else, but Fabio Vieira will be in it.
Yeah, Mark, I'm pretty sure you will resolve it. And then what do you think? Would Mark choose Vuskovic or Vieira or the World Cup? Or let's extend it not only to Mark, but to every HSV fan. What do you think? I mean, you cannot extend it because Mark is very special and he's so much into the German national team. But is he in the German national team enough to resist having Vuskovic and Vieira playing for Hamburg on a permanent basis?
Oh, this is such a difficult question. First, when he spoke, I thought maybe he would ask if he would choose a World Cup over maybe getting a European Cup with Hamburg or something like that.
Yeah, I thought so too.
And then I thought, okay, Germany won the World Cup 2014, therefore he will go with Hamburg. But now we're talking about signings, and this is something else. And for me, it would be obviously Vieira and Vuskovic.
For me too, of course.
You already told our audience, Mark is very passionate about the national team. He also said it himself. Because, and this answers his last question, I never saw Mark going so crazy about a player like Vieira before.
Me neither.
I say he will take the signings.
I say so too, and I am so much excited, Mark, whether this season and these signings or loan players did bring you closer again, or let's say a bit more away from the German national team, back towards Hamburg. I'm excited how you will resolve it.
This is something you don't have to go away from because they don't collide with each other. So
that's actually true. Yes, that's actually true. But Lennart, I think this was our first summer episode, way longer than our previous ones. Way longer. But it was so much fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Still, I loved it. And thank you, Philipp, for this, for your time and great first summer episode, like you said. And next week, you won't be hearing from us, but the week after that, like we also already mentioned, during the summer, we have an episode every 2 weeks. So let's hope that you hear from us 2 weeks. And until then, bye.
Yes, I would say bye now as well. And I will do so in a couple of seconds. But again, also from my side, it was so much fun. And I have one little add-on. I made a small interview together with Paul, a friend of us, who also went into the stadium with us during the season. He now moved to Vienna. I was visiting him together with a friend during the past days. We also watched a football game with a slight relation also to Hamburg. And we will solve this little quest in this small interview that I took together with Paul. Just a couple of minutes. This podcast now is over, but if you want to listen to it, stay in here. Listen to Paul, listen to what he says out of Vienna, what he experienced in Vienna, what was his game of the season, who he actually met in Vienna, maybe also a HSV supporter, and why the game that we saw on Monday, Austria against Tunisia, had something to do with HSV. With that being said, Lennart, hear you again in 2 weeks, and thank you, our listeners, to listen to this episode. Bye-bye. So I am here with a good friend of us, with Paul, and we are currently in, Paul, where are we?
Yes, greetings from Vienna, the capital of Austria.
Yes, and yesterday we saw a game together, which was?
Austria against Tunisia.
Yes, but unfortunately without a HSV player, but with 2 Werder Bremen players. Paul, how did you follow the HSV season?
Well, to be honest, I moved to Vienna mid-February, and before I've been to several games. My last one was against Bayern, which was, in my opinion, one of the best games this season. I really enjoyed it.
Why?
Well, obviously because it was great to see Bayern Munich again in our beloved Volkspark after several years, and actually that we were able to compete with them. I really enjoyed the both goals from Vuskovic and Vieira, if I remember correctly.
You are right.
Yeah. The atmosphere was great. I mean, I guess nobody expected that we will be able to follow up that good and compete with them. So, yeah, it was a really great game.
Okay, and afterwards you moved to Vienna. Did you meet HSV fans here?
Yes, actually, I met a HSV fan who is from Denmark, and he's from a town very close to the German border in the south of Denmark. Now he's living in Aarhus, but he actually traveled to a lot of HSV games, and we are already planning to meet at the HSV together. So, yeah.
But you also traveled to some matches here in Austria. Would you name a couple?
Yes, we actually went to a lot of matches here in Vienna because, I mean, we have the big two clubs here, which is Austria Wien and Rapid Wien. We went to both of the clubs, and we also went to Wiener Sportclub twice, which is a smaller club, but the atmosphere is very nice and the stadium was just rebuilt. So we basically went to the third match that was played in the new stadium. We, for example, also went to the ÖFB Women's Cup final, which was Austria Wien against RB Leipzig. Austria Wien won. And we also saw how Linz won the championship in the Generali Arena, which is the Austria Wien stadium. Yes, but over the several games that I've seen in Vienna now, I would actually say that the highlight for me was the game yesterday in the Ernst Happel Stadium. So the friendly game that we already talked about. As probably most of you know, Ernst Happel is actually a very big legend for the HSV as well.
That's true. And why is he a big legend? What did he do for the club?
Actually, when I remember it correctly, during the 80s, he won 2 championships, one DFB Pokal and also the Champions League, and also the Champions League, which was back in the days still was called Europapokal der Pokalsieger, right?
Europapokal der Landesmeister.
Europapokal der Landesmeister, yes.
Yeah, but a very important cup. So thank you, Paul, for the insights.
In Athens,
yes. And my uncle was there. So if you listen to this podcast, Ralle, it's a homage.
Greeting to Ralle.
Yes. But Paul, thank you. Thank you very much for the interview and hope to see you soon back in Hamburg.
Yes, thank you very much that you both visited me. It was a pleasure to show you around and see you back in Hamburg. Nur der HSV, ihr Lieben.
Nur der HSV.